The story begins in the frozen, unforgiving wastelands of the Arctic. A Royal Danish ship, the Horizont, is trapped in the ice. The crew is exhausted, hungry, and terrified. They want to turn back, but their leader, Captain Anderson, is obsessed with reaching the North Pole. He refuses to give up, pushing his men to the brink of mutiny. But the mission is interrupted by something strange. They hear an explosion in the distance and find slaughtered sled dogs and a trail of blood. They discover a man, nearly frozen to death, wandering the ice. This man is Victor Frankenstein. He is armed and hunting something. He warns the captain that a creature is out there, a creature that cannot die and will come for him. Once Victor is brought aboard and given medical attention, he realizes the captain shares his dangerous level of ambition. To save the captain from making the same mistakes, Victor begins to tell his life story, a confession of how he created a monster. Victor explains that his story really started with his childhood in Geneva. He was the son of a wealthy baron and a famous surgeon. His father was a cold, distant man who cared more about reputation than feelings. Victor's only source of love was his mother. She was his whole world. But tragedy struck when his mother died during childbirth. Victor watched his father, the great doctor, fail to save her. In that moment of grief, Victor's heart hardened. He decided that death was not a natural end, but a failure, a disease that could be cured. He vowed that he would succeed where his father had failed. He would conquer death itself. Victor grew up to be brilliant but arrogant. While his younger brother William was kind and followed the rules, Victor was rebellious. He went to medical school in Edinburgh, but he didn't want to learn standard medicine. He wanted to perform miracles. He argued with his professors, claiming that with enough electricity and understanding of the body's energy flow, he could restart life. He was so aggressive and radical that he was expelled from the university. However, his controversial ideas caught the attention of a man named Heinrich Harlander. Harlander was a very wealthy, powerful, but corrupt man who had made a fortune selling weapons. He approached Victor with a proposition. Harlander was dying of syphilis, a painful and eating disease. He offered Victor unlimited money and resources to build a laboratory. In exchange, Harlander wanted Victor to perfect his technique so that Harlander's brain could be transferred into a new, healthy, immortal body. Victor, desperate to continue his work, agreed to the deal. They set up a secret laboratory in an old, abandoned water tower near a lake. Victor's brother William came to help, bringing his fiancée, Elizabeth. Victor and Elizabeth shared a deep, almost spiritual connection, even though she was engaged to his brother. Elizabeth was fascinated by Victor's intensity, and Victor was drawn to her purity. Victor began his gruesome work. He needed a body that was perfect. He paid criminals to bring him fresh corpses, but he was picky. He wanted the strongest limbs, the best organs. He began sewing together a patchwork man, a giant constructed from the parts of different dead men. He discovered that the secret to reanimating the body lay in the lymphatic system, a network in the body that could hold an electrical charge like a battery. He built a massive machine to harness the power of lightning. As the work neared completion, Harlander's disease got worse. He was in agony and terrified of dying. He demanded that Victor perform the surgery immediately to switch his body. Victor refused, saying the creature wasn't ready yet. A violent fight broke out in the lab. Harlander threatened to destroy everything. In a moment of panic and rage, Victor fought back and killed Harlander. Now, with a dead body on the floor and a storm raging outside, Victor made a frantic decision. He decided to use the lightning storm happening right then to bring his creation to life. He hooked the patchwork body up to his machines. The lightning struck, channeling massive amounts of energy into the corpse. It worked. The creature began to breathe. But this was not the triumph Victor imagined. When the creature woke up, it was confused and scared like a giant baby. It didn't know how to walk or speak. It couldn't handle the light or the heat. Victor, exhausted and horrified by the strangeness of what he had made, was not kind. He treated the creature like a broken machine rather than a living being. He chained it up in the basement.
Victor tried to train the creature, but he was impatient and cruel. He would yell at it to identify objects, showing no compassion for its confusion. Meanwhile, Elizabeth discovered the creature. Unlike Victor, she was gentle. She saw soul behind its mismatched eyes. She spoke to it softly, and the creature's first word wasn't Victor, it was Elizabeth. This made Victor jealous and angry. He realized he had created something he couldn't control. When his brother William found out that Harlander was dead, Victor panicked. He told William to take Elizabeth away to Vienna for their safety, lying to them about his plans. Victor decided he had to destroy his creation. He went down to the basement with a weapon, intending to kill the creature. But he hesitated. The creature, sensing the rejection and the threat, broke free from his chains and escaped into the night. The story then shifts to the creature's perspective. He was alone in a world he didn't understand. He was huge, scarred, and terrifying to look at, but inside, he was innocent. He wandered through the wilderness, suffering from the cold and hunger. Eventually, he found a small cabin in the woods, inhabited by a blind old man and his young granddaughter.
The creature hid in the barn, watching them through the cracks in the wood. He learned from them. He watched the old man teach the girl how to read, and by listening, the creature learned to speak and read as well. He began to help them secretly. He would chop wood and leave it by their door or clear the snow. The family thought it was a spirit of the forest helping them. For a brief time, the creature felt happy. He felt like he had a family. He read books he stole from them, including Paradise Lost, which helped him understand the concept of God and creation. He realized he was like Adam, the first man, but he had no God who loved him, only a creator who had abandoned him. One day, when the rest of the family was gone, the creature gathered the courage to speak to the blind old man. The old man, unable to see the creature's terrifying face, listened to his voice. He heard the creature's pain and kindness and welcomed him as a friend. It was a beautiful moment of connection, but it was short-lived. The old man's son returned, saw a monster sitting with his father, and immediately attacked. He shot the creature. Heartbroken and bleeding, the creature fled. He realized that humanity would never accept him. His love turned to hate. He found Victor's journal in the pocket of the coat he had taken from the lab. He learned his creator's name, Victor Frankenstein, and he learned where he lived. The creature vowed revenge. The creature tracked Victor down to the Frankenstein family estate. Victor was there, preparing for William and Elizabeth's wedding. The creature confronted Victor, but not to kill him yet. He had a demand. He told Victor that he was lonely, and that his loneliness was what made him wicked. He demanded that Victor make him a companion, a female creature just like him. If Victor agreed, they would disappear together and never bother humanity again. Victor was horrified. He imagined a race of monsters populating the earth. He refused to create another abomination. The creature warned him, "If you deny me love, I will indulge in rage." He promised to be with Victor on his wedding night. Victor, terrified, tried to protect Elizabeth. On the night of the wedding, he sent her to her room and waited in the shadows with a gun, expecting the creature to come for him. But the creature was smarter than that. He didn't want to kill Victor. He wanted Victor to feel the same loss he felt. The creature bypassed Victor and went straight to the bedroom. Victor heard a scream. He rushed to the room, but he was too late. The creature had killed Elizabeth. Victor's world shattered. The creature fled, taunting Victor, leading him on a chase. Victor had nothing left to live for but revenge. He armed himself and pursued the creature across Europe, always just a few steps behind. The creature left clues, taunting him, leading him further and further north, into the freezing cold where the creature's unnatural body could survive, but where Victor would slowly weaken. This brings the story back to the present, on the ship trapped in the ice. Victor finishes telling his tale to Captain Anderson. He's weak, dying from the cold and exhaustion.
He tells the captain that he has hunted the monster to the end of the earth, but he doesn't have the strength to finish the job. Suddenly, the ice around the ship begins to crack. The creature is here. The crew panics, but Victor, using his last ounce of strength, goes out to face his creation one last time. He tries to set a trap with dynamite, but his hands are too frozen to light the fuse. The creature appears out of the mist, but the fight doesn't happen as expected. Victor collapses, dying. The creature stands over him. He sees his creator, his father, broken and dying in the snow. The rage drains out of the creature. He realizes that with Victor's death, he is truly alone. There is no purpose left. Victor looks at the creature. In his final moments, his hatred fades too. He sees the sadness in the creature's eyes. He asks the creature for forgiveness. He realized he failed him as a father. The creature forgives him. Victor takes his last breath and dies. Captain Anderson and his men watch as the creature weeps over Victor's body. The captain realizes that Victor's obsession destroyed everything he loved. He decides he won't make the same mistake. He tells his crew they are going home. The ship breaks free from the ice, turning back towards life.